First of all, it gives me great pleasure to announce the reopening of the boardwalk here at Playland. And I think this looks fantastic. We are really, really proud of how this came out. And we're so excited to have all the bare feet and flip-flops on it soon in the spring and in the summer. You know, after we finished work in May on rebuilding the section of the boardwalk from the Pier Restaurant to the miniature golf course, the public response to the new boardwalk was amazing. And it was so overwhelming that we considered redoing it to the same extent. And so now we have rebuilt the rest of the boardwalk all the way past the bathhouse into the Rye Town Park. That section was fixed, but it looked old, it looked different, and you could still get splinters. And so we thought, why don't we just do it the right way? It'll cost some money, but let's do it the right way. So we made the decision to completely rebuild the entire section from length to length here with Ipe. Now that's the wood. Ipe is from Brazil. It's durable. It lasts a lot longer. This will last up to 30 years instead of the pine, which is 15 to 20. It will hopefully last through storms, some of the severe storms that we've had in the past, whereas the pine wood has been destructible. And so it is a really good investment. It not only looks nice, it feels nice, but it works, and it'll be here for a long time. Hopefully we won't have those major storms, but if we do, we expect the wood to last. And that's one of the reasons why we did it. It makes sense. You know, this is a place that is so special to me. It's special really to anyone from Westchester or really the New York metropolitan area. You know, this is a place where people have come. They have pictures in their scrapbooks. I know I have come here since I was a little boy, and now my wife and I love to stroll this boardwalk whenever we come here, walk out to the pier with the kids, and just look at what I think is one of the most amazing views in the world. And we're just starting to get that feel today. You know, winter is over, the seagulls are out, you like to feel the fresh air and the sun, and there really is no better place than to come to Playland. Whether the rides are running in the summer or whether it's just a regular day to just get the fresh air and spend some quality family time. So this is a county park, and I urge people all over Westchester to take advantage of your county park. And for those in the New York metropolitan area, heck, around the world, come see us. We'd love to showcase this beautiful piece of property to everybody. And I think once you come here for the first time, you just start coming back forever and ever and ever. So with that, I do want to introduce Scott Donnelly, who works for our Department of Public Works, and he did a great job as project manager for this. So Scott can go into a little more detail on the project itself. And then Bill McNeese from Titan, he is the president of Titan Construction. They did the work here. They did an outstanding job. They should be commended publicly for what they did. So we'll bring up Scott to talk a little bit about some of the specifics that you might have on the project. Scott?
Hi, my name is Scott Donnelly. I'm the Director of Design Coordination for the Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation. Basically, the project was divided into two sections. The first section, we replaced approximately 2,300 square feet worth of the boardwalk. The second phase of the project, we replaced the remaining section, and I believe that was 37,300 square feet of the boardwalk. The first section was devoted to the damage that was easily identified, a direct cause of the hurricane. You basically can see the heaving and the depressions of the boardwalk. The same avenue that we used to inspect the underside of the boardwalk was used by the storm itself to create the damage, the waves, and the tidal action and everything like that. So it was very easy to identify that. But large sections of the boardwalk were hanging up in the air down by the tiki bar. The planks were pretty much knocked off of the fishing pier and whatnot. So the first section of the project was pretty straightforward. It was basically take off the timber decking, work on the substructure, which were timber joists, timber headers, timber piles, concrete footings, and the actual seawall itself was refaced with concrete, in addition to refastening the boards out on the timber pier. We did do quite a bit of railing replacement, primarily between the back of the ice casino and extending over to the pavilion. Also, ancillary works that were included in the project were the replacement of some of the planking, exterior planking on the pavilion, and also barbecue pits, things like that, interior park fencing, things that were clearly damaged by the storm. On the basis of the first project, we were so happy with the use of the Rye wood, which is, as Rob mentioned, a Brazilian hardwood. It's a species of walnut. Basically, we were so delighted with that, and the appearance of it, we incorporated it into the second phase of the project. The Rye wood has a lifespan about 30 plus years. Some reports put it as high as 50. The actual southern yellow pine, pressure-treated womanized, that was the alternate to this, would have had a lifespan of approximately 10, maybe tops 15 years. But in a marine atmosphere like this, usually 10 is all you can expect. So we went with the Rye wood for the Phase 2 portion of the project. Again, the total length of the boardwalk from end to end is basically 1,300 linear feet, and the total square footage on this was roughly 60,300 square feet where the boardwalk replaced. The southern end also included replacement of some of the ramps, some of the railings, and some facade work over at the entrance to the bathhouse, basically from the beach. Any questions?
There's a sense as to the difference in price between if you've gone with the old pine and this. We're told it's more, but appreciably more?
Yeah, it's probably, it's not quite double the cost, but what we did was we put in two items basically. The first item, I believe the first contract had almost 60 items as part of the contract itself. The second contract was very similar also. The first item was for the removal of the decking and replacing with pressure-treated pine. So basically what we did was we had a second item which covered the additional cost for doing it in Rye wood. And the idea was that at the time we were told that there was a possibility that FEMA would reimburse us for the cost of the Rye versus the pine. They keep on vacillating back and forth between the two. Currently it's up in the air. Currently it's kind of on the downside, but the county considered it a very valuable piece of the boardwalk and something certainly worth the preservation. Again, the life cycle on the two, we're talking roughly 3 times the Rye. But just to give you an idea, the item 1A for the first contract, which was the replacement of the decking with pine, was $64,570, and the item 1B, which was the additional cost for furnishing and installing the Rye boardwalk decking, was $420,291. For contract B, the amount for the 1A was $600,000, and for the 1B was an additional $450,000.
I have one question. I'm from Mississippi, and Hurricane Katrina, when Hurricane Katrina hit us, Hurricane Sandy hit, how many inches do the water fall? Because I do know, as from Hurricane Katrina, we have a height of water coming in. We are on the Gulf Coast, as you know. So how many height of the bridge are higher to keep the water from damage anything like it did, like Hurricane Sandy did?
Well, basically, we have sort of anecdotal evidence from the Parks Department that the water here reached basically the maintenance structure on the other side of the parking lot. So you're talking probably at least 4 or 5 feet above where we're standing right now.
And the Long Island Sound is much prettier than the Gulf.
Oh, come on. I don't think so.
Your shrimp might be better.
Okay. Well, I have to fight for Mississippi.
Is the water blue?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what, John?
Justify people saying, look,
First of all, it's a good investment. That's number one. This is more durable. The lifespan is much longer. If you had to change your roof 3 times in 30 years or once and spend a little bit more, you'd probably go once and spend a little bit more. And that's what we did here. It was the right investment, and we're hoping to get reimbursed from FEMA, at least part of it. So it was the right thing to do. This is not just for appearance. I mean, the appearances will be beautiful, and it'll all look the same after it's weatherized, probably by the end of the season. But this is a good investment. I mean, this is going to hold up during major storms. You won't have splintering, which is always a problem, especially with kids. So this is the right thing to do. It's a good investment. Even if FEMA doesn't reimburse, this is the right thing for the county. I mean, everyone always looks short term, but long term, this made the most sense as well.
What's the current plan for the North Boardwalk?
The North Boardwalk is something that we're back at the drawing board looking at. You know, that was part of the reinvention of Playland, so we want to make sure that that's all settled first before we determine what goes on the North Boardwalk. But that is something that could be done as well. But that has been destroyed, I think, 3 times in the last 20 years. So again, whatever we do there would be stronger, more reliable than going back to the same old type of wood and the same old engineering.
On the reinventing, are you optimistic that the plan that you formulated here is going to go forward, the sustainable saying that, you know, this is where are things right now? I've seen one that everything seems to be kind of falling apart. Do you think that's
No, it's not falling apart. I think the problem is, and I understand the frustration of those on the SPI board. I mean, they're volunteers. They're community leaders. They've invested hundreds of thousands of their own dollars as part of this project to have a civic partnership, which is really what we all wanted. There are no secrets to this. This has been transparent. The plans have been the same, with a little tinkering here and there, really since day one in August of 2010. The Board of Legislators have been part of it. The community has been part of it. I have been out in the community describing the project. And you know, you do have a few people, quite frankly, who want nothing to change in Playland. But that cannot happen. The status quo cannot continue because the taxpayers are taking it back here. We're losing $3 to $5 million each year. The public isn't coming in the numbers that they were. So something does have to change here. It's sort of like, you know, a tree that looks pretty from the outside, but inside it's rotting, and that tree's going to fall down. And it's the same thing here at Playland. It looks beautiful, and you know, when the public comes here, they have a great time and they go home, but they're not concerned, as I am, with the financials here. And the financials are not good. We're losing way too much money every year. Money that could be better spent somewhere else or saved, which is really what we need to do. So the status quo is not an option. I understand the frustration. I've been in communication with the City of Rye officials, with the SPI board members, with the Board of Legislators, and the board wants to continue doing its due diligence. They could still be on track to have a vote in mid-May to approve the plan. And that would be a huge hurdle that would be overcome and take away some of the uncertainty here. I think the lawsuit that was already thrown out by one judge will be thrown out again on appeal, so that's, I don't think, a major concern. But we do want to move forward, and another year has been wasted that will cost taxpayers another $3 to $5 million. And
the next couple of weeks are key?
I would say so, yeah. I think we need to be all on board and start moving forward. I mean, there's been plenty of time for the public to review this, you know, and to just stop it in its tracks, keep the status quo, just means that eventually this place is going to continue to fall apart, require tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer money that we, quite frankly, don't have and shouldn't have to expend since we have a viable alternative from the private sector in cooperation with the county. The ice casino, just to get you updated, as Scott was saying, the ice casino has really come a long way. You know, that was badly damaged during the storm, and the more they looked at it, the more damage they found. But that's coming along well. They have done a tremendous amount of work. We will be open for the fall season, so those who are skaters and hockey players, you'll be able to be on the ice sometime in the fall. In fact, we're taking registration in June and July, so that's moving along. They got some exterior work done, left to do, but otherwise it's made a lot of progress.
Plans for the Children's Museum.
The Children's Museum behind us, coming along. You know, that You should talk to the Children's Museum personnel about that, but I know they're having a big gala in May, I believe it is, which I'm going to attend as well. And the progress is moving along. I can't wait for it to open.
Are you in the media, sir?
No, but it's a simple question.
Go ahead.
You said the walk on the other side was back on the drawing board. Is that on the county's drawing board or SPO?
Both. And that's what we want, is we want some finality moving forward so everyone can have the same vision. Because right now, without moving forward, you know, who's going to determine what goes there? That's the question mark.
Jonathan, are you still expecting that sustainable failing if they should be finally given the contract?
Well, they have the contract.
Oh, right.
That's already done. They have the approval to manage the property. And the uncertainty lies with the Board of Legislators giving their final approval to the plans as they have them. The board is doing their homework. We have been told that they have a few questions left, but they're continuing with their committee meetings and getting the answers to their questions. And once the board gives its approval, then there's a lot of clouds that are lifted off this uncertainty.
Are you expecting them still to contribute $73 million up front?
Well, part of the problem now is the uncertainty has cost them time and money and their ability to raise some of the money that they've needed. But it's not contingent necessarily, it never was, and I didn't want this kind of plan for them to have to raise money from donations. The plan would be for them to sign contracts with the private sector, and that's where the income would come. And so that's where they're working on the field house, on the amusement zone with Central Amusements, which runs Coney Island. These are the professionals that would run the various zones of the park, and they would bring in the revenue, and then they would pay SBI, and they would pay the county, etc. They can't sign contracts until there's final approval, and that's where the uncertainty is. So everyone's in a holding pattern, and that's not business friendly. You know, business needs to have a plan, move forward, and start bringing in revenue. And you know, so they're frustrated. They should be frustrated. I'm frustrated too. And that's the problem when private business tries to do business with government. It's a total different world that they're not used to in many ways. And when politics is injected, which it always is, that gets in the way as well.
What's the status of the talks with Rye over lead agency?
What's that?
What's the status of your talks with Rye over?
Well, Mayor Sack and I had a very good, productive conversation last week. That's continuing, as well as with some of the council members in Rye. Look, from the county's point of view, we cannot give up rights to our own property here or anywhere. We have 50 parks. If we were to give up our rights, and any time we try to build something on one of our own parks, we need local approvals, we would never get anywhere and never get anything done. So we are very respectful, and I have been since day one, on the concerns for Rye. That's why I personally had a town hall meeting in Rye, which was packed. A lot of the conversation was Playland based. Why members of our administration, when invited, would go to any meeting with regards to Playland and SPI, including the hearings that the city of Rye held. And we'll continue to do that. And some of their concerns were valid, and we've been meeting those concerns. But we can't have an endless conversation. We can't let this continuously be bogged down in minutia, as well as government agencies. We have to move forward, and 3 years seems to be enough when this plan really hasn't changed much. And all parties were part of it from day one. So let's cut the ribbon and let's open this boardwalk once and for all. Yeah.
Everybody gets before the seagulls do damage to it. Let's get in the back. Bill,
Would you go to the other side of the ribbon, please?
Yeah, see you.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
Ready to go, Rob.
Are you ready? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
It's a real classic.
This is going to be FEMA reimbursed too.
Hanging around.
Have you really? Yeah.
Okay. We had enough battery power to encompass the entire event.
Oh yeah, another important thing. Playland opens up May 10th.
This video was taken.
When Playland opens up for the season, so we want people to know it's open. Come one, come all. Spend your money.
This video was taken on this Thursday afternoon, April 10th, for 2014, and the time right now is 12:25 p.m.